Okay, everybody out there in YouTube land, I'm making this video. It's going to go into the HOA harassment file. Okay, first of all, I'm going to start inside my house. I live on Sundance Golf Course in Buckeye, Arizona. It's arena golf. Right off the bat, it's arena golf. The houses on the golf course are juxtaposed to each other. The golf course playing area goes right up to my property line. If anybody wants to play a ball up against my property line to the 6th green, there's nothing to stop them. That's all play area up there. Now, to start, I'm in my dining room. You're looking at about an $800 replacement cost on that window. That's a double pane window, and when I ordered the house, I ordered the upgraded window. So that's an upgraded double pane window that's about an $800, $900 replacement cost. And most of the replacement cost is the labor, because they have to come out and measure the window. That's a trip out from wherever they are, and then they have to come out and install it. But I'm going to start my video here with HOA harassment. And I'm going to include the golf course and the golf course policies and the golf course strategy and the golf course, what they consider proper use of the golf course. I don't consider it that. That window right now has been broke for 2 years. I'm not going to replace it. It got broke on a Saturday morning in the winter when there was a big left to right. The wind was coming out of the east, cold and hard. And one of the first groups off the tee that morning, some young kid laid into one. He lost it up into the wind. He hit a high fade. It probably bounced on 233rd a couple of times. So anyway, it took out this window. Okay? $800. I wasn't doing anything. The house is sitting here doing nothing. Now, when I go into the golf shop and tell them that somebody broke my window, they go, it's your problem. It's your problem. You have a broken window because you bought a house on a golf course. All golf courses break windows. So accept it. If you get a broken window, it was an accident and it was unintended. The cops feel that way, the golf shop feels that way, the HOA feels that way, the mayor, everybody in government here. This is our joy, our pride and joy. This golf course we're open for business. This golf course brings business into the community, right? We don't want to try to throttle it in any way. Well, that window right there, about less than 200 yards from that window and just offline from the tee box, is the men's tee box. The men's tee box is along 230 to 3rd. Now the day that this window got broken, the lady who was living here immediately came and got me. She was crying because she knew how upset I was going to be. I came out here with this video camera, and I'm going to send you the video later of me taking the video of the house, and then I went out and I had to wait on the golf course for about 10 minutes for these guys to come down number 5. And finally finished number 5 and tee off on number 6. And when they came around number 6, the young men in the cart almost ran over me. They almost tipped the cart over to try to avoid talking to me. The old guys that were playing with them, the old lodge brothers, the church deacons, what I call Trump head, West Valley Trump heads, were driving. They weren't going to take that chance, so they had to stop for me because I was right in the middle. I held up the ball. I said, "Who hit this ball?" And they go, "We didn't." Why are you accusing us? We're playing the 5th hole. We got nothing to do with your house. All right? We didn't hit your house. Well, you're the only people that's come down off number 5 since I've been standing here. Nobody else has come down here. You're the first group to go through. You're the ones that broke my window. Okay? That group, when they got in their car that day and left Sundance parking lot, those 2 young men the ones that almost flipped the cart over and were smart-mouthed to me, wouldn't talk to me, refused to admit that they lost the ball to the right up in the wind. All right? When they got in their car that day, these West Valley experts, what I call West Valley Trump heads, got in their car and laughed all the way out the parking lot, knowing that they had taken out a window. Now, yesterday, that's the window story. We'll start from in here. Now, I'm going to start with this tree right here. Tonight, we're going to have a little sundance ceremony where that tree goes away. I never had children. I got drafted. It broke my mother's heart to see me get drafted, to have the government come in and take her son and force him into the military during Vietnam. She never got over it. All right? And I sort of have the same thing. I never had children because I know the power of the government. And I don't ever want my children to be taken away from me, or the government come in, or a school to come in and tell me what to do with my children. Now, this tree right here has been my child for about the last 4 or 5 years. I had to do a lot of grading and regrading here, plumbing to get the water to the street. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I planted this tree, and I didn't know any rule about trees aren't supposed to be supported by staking a tree. Okay? This is an Arizona ash. It has a canopy up top and a long trunk. Now, when I talk about a little morte death ceremony this afternoon, once I get those steel things out of the ground, that tree is going. And I just want to send this message, this video, to my membership here at Sundance Active Adult, to the Caroline who sent me the letter about the tree. That tree isn't going to live past tonight. It's going away. Why? Because you used this tree to put more paperwork in my file. More paperwork of non-compliance in my file. Okay? This is why I never had children. If I had children and somebody would have bothered them or done something, I would end up in prison or jail or on death row because somebody threatened my children and I got overboard. Now, this tree's coming out of here tonight. You are never going to send me another letter about this tree. It has to go. I planted it about 5 years ago. I've been nurturing it, and I want to show you something. The doves, you see that? That's a nest. The doves nest there. When we get a full canopy of growth, the dove nests there. The doves nest there. Now, your big gripe with me is it's a staked tree. Well, because of the characteristic of the tree, it's all canopy at the top. When I unstake it, the next big windstorm or microburst here, it's probably going to snap that tree in half. I've seen it before. So before Mother Nature does it, I'm going to do it. And the reason I'm doing it is this is another child that isn't going to be taken away from me. Okay? You're never going to send me another letter about this tree again because this tree is going away. All right? You had a problem with it. Somebody had a problem with it. Now, I'm going to go around the corner here. And I'm going to zoom in on two things over there. You see that tree right there? That tree has a canopy that overhangs the sidewalk all summer long. That tree is a birdhouse in the summer. That sidewalk right there, and for about 30 feet out from the sidewalk or 20 feet out, gets nothing but bird crap all over it. Any tree that overhangs the sidewalk in this community in the summer produces bird crap all over the sidewalk. The trees live in the canopy in the summer. Now, that tree right there to me is more offensive to community because it's going to deposit if it isn't trimmed, it's going to deposit bird crap on that sidewalk all summer long. But you don't write that up, you got a trouble with this. Your trouble is with a stake tree. Now, like I said, I'm going to get those stakes out of there, and I'm not going to let Mother Nature break this tree in half, because it's coming out tonight. That's what I think of you and your HOA. Here's another thing, we'll go back over there. Now, whoever went through and saw that tree the way it was and wrote it up, that signpost has been sitting there for about a month and a half to 2 months. Now, either the house is rented and you expect to use the signpost again when the renter leaves, or it's been sold. I don't really care, whatever. But that's been there for about 2 months. Nobody's taken it out. That looks out of place in the neighborhood. It's much more out of place in the neighborhood, I would say, than this. But if you're looking, if you've got me on your hit list to find something wrong with him, like it's like having a cop and a sign to follow. Put yourself on that guy's bumper, and the first mistake he makes, you follow him all day, and the first mistake he makes, whether he doesn't turn a signal light, he doesn't stop for a stop line, he runs the light, you arrest him. Right there on the spot. Now here's another tree we have a trouble that overhangs the sidewalk. That tree is allowed to grow big canopy like that to protect the house from golf balls that come over there. Now, just behind that post over there, just up behind it and to the left is the tee box that broke that window. See that window? That was broke 2 years ago. I'm not replacing a window that I didn't break. I didn't break it. It was broken by the golf course. I immediately called Andy and told him about it, and Andy's first statement to me was, we're not buying windows. We can't start buying windows. And until I can defend that window against more golf balls, if I put a brand new window and I blow $1,800 or $800 on a new window tomorrow and it puts in, by tomorrow evening it can be broke. What can happen will happen. And that ball comes right over those solar panels where you see at that house, the gray van and the solar panels behind it, that's where the tee box is. Just beyond those houses. And when the wind's blowing like today, hard from the east and cold, all day long we got golf balls in 233rd Drive. And in track day. That's about an $800 window. Now, because it's broken, the window rattles every time the people next door start their car. Because this is broken and it's not integral anymore. We don't have a nice, tight, airtight, with gas in the middle of it anymore window. It rattles. So every time they do anything out here, start their car, get in and out of the car, open the garage door, the whole house rattles. That window rattles because it's broken. Now, I'll continue this later when the wind dies down and I get these posts out. Once I get these posts out, though, that tree is going to be unsupported. And when it leaves out in August and it's all leaf up top, the first monsoon is going to rip it in half, break it in half like a toothpick. I'm not going to allow that to happen.